Imagine this. You've finally begun to breathe again. The silence that once felt unbearable now holds a strange peace. You're rediscovering your laughter, your rhythm, your worth. But just when you start to stand steady on your own, your phone lights up. A message. A voice you swore you'd never answer again. Suddenly, your heart skips, your mind spins, and that quiet strength trembles. Because deep down, a part of you still remembers the way they once made you feel. Before the confusion, before the hurt. Why do they always come back? Why now when you're finally healing? If you've ever found yourself tangled in the web of someone who seemed to love you deeply one day and break you the next, this is for you. Because what you're about to hear isn't just about them, it's about you, about your heart, your truth, and the power you've had all along that they hoped you'd forget. Today, we'll unravel the 5 desperate moves narcissists make to pull you back in when they feel you slipping away. You might recognize their words, their sudden tenderness, their haunting apologies. You might even feel that tug the part of you that still aches to believe they've changed. But as we walk through these moments together, you'll see the truth hidden beneath the sweetness. You'll understand why your heart feels torn, and why it's not weakness to want love, it's human. So if you've ever asked yourself, was it really me? Was I too much, too sensitive, too needy? Stay here. Let's breathe through this together. Because what's coming isn't just clarity, it's freedom. And before we dive deeper, if this space already feels like a quiet place for your heart to rest, I'd love for you to stay. You can subscribe not just to hear more, but to remind yourself you're not alone in this. And if you find a piece of yourself in these words, a gentle like or a comment helps this message find another soul who might need it tonight. Now, let's begin with what they do first. When they realize their control is slipping, the first desperate move that whispers, "I miss you," but really means, "Don't forget me." The first move often arrives wrapped in tenderness, like a memory you once prayed to relive. They reach out with words that sound soft, remorseful, maybe even sacred. You might hear them say, "I've been thinking about us," or "I can't stop remembering how good we were." It's not an apology, not really. It's nostalgia carefully crafted to reach the part of you that still aches for the love you thought you had. They'll remind you of the first time you laughed together, the little things only the two of you shared, the way they used to hold you when everything felt like too much. And for a moment, your heart flinches because it remembers the warmth, not the cold, the beginning, not the ending, the dream, not the truth. That's their first desperate move. Emotional recall. They know how to pull you back into the story, the one they wrote with all the best lines in the beginning. They want you to forget the chapters that followed the silence, the blame, the walking on eggshells. They want to blur the pain with longing, and you, because you are human, because you love deeply, feel that ache again. You question the healing you fought for. You wonder, maybe they've changed, maybe this time will be different. But pause here. Breathe. Ask yourself, if someone truly saw your pain, truly valued your soul, would they need to manipulate your memories just to find a way back in? No, love. Real love doesn't have to haunt you to hold you. Their nostalgia isn't about love, it's about control. It's the echo they use to test the door of your heart. If you answer, they know the door still opens. And yet, if you've answered before, if you've gone back because you hoped, there is no shame in that. You weren't foolish. You were faithful. You believed in what you were promised. But now, you see, the first move is not about healing. It's about re-entry. So when they send that late-night message, when they say they miss the old days, remember, they're not missing you, they're missing the power they once held. You are not a memory to be revisited. You are a life being rebuilt. And when nostalgia fails, when the warmth no longer draws you in, they shift their strategy. The sweetness fades, and another face emerges, the one that says, "Look at everything you've lost without me." Because the second move is performance. The show of change, of success, of happiness designed to make you doubt your decision, to make you ache for what they pretend to be now. The second move is crafted like a stage play, every gesture rehearsed, every image curated. They know your heart still listens for signs of change, so they put on a performance, one meant to stir the ache of what if. Suddenly, their life seems transformed. You see the posts, the smiles, the confident glow they never showed before. They're volunteering, meditating, dating someone new who looks oddly like you, or they're talking about self-growth, peace, healing. It's all a show, a spotlight on how much they've grown since you left. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet doubt whispers, maybe I was the problem. Maybe they really have changed, just not for me. That thought hurts, doesn't it? The idea that all your tears, your patience, your effort became the soil where someone else gets to see them bloom. But look closer. The glow is hollow. the captions are rehearsed. The change, if it were real, would be gentle and humble, not loud and flashing. This performance isn't about healing, it's bait. They want you to feel the sting of comparison, to question your worth, to wonder if you gave up too soon. That's the cruelty of this move. It preys on your deepest wound, the one that always believed love must be earned. The one that thought, if I try harder, maybe I'll finally be enough. They know this. They always knew. And so, they act. They show. They parade. Because if they can't pull you back through kindness, they'll try through jealousy, through regret. But here's the truth you may need to hear gently. You didn't lose someone who grew. You released someone who refused to. What you see now is a costume stitched from your old devotion. It's an echo of everything you once hoped they'd become. And when you no longer respond, when you no longer bite the hook, they begin to unravel. The performance stops working. The mask slips. They feel the silence growing around them. And that's when desperation deepens. Because the third move is far more fragile. It's a plea dressed in pain. They'll reach out not with pride, but with sorrow, whispering that they can't do this without you. They'll say they're broken. They'll say they've realized everything. They'll tell you they finally see what they've done. And for a moment, you'll feel that old pull, the part of you that always wanted to fix, to rescue, to love enough for two. The third move arrives like a confession at midnight, shaky, trembling, almost believable. They speak in fragments, in half-choked words about regret and emptiness. They might say, I've lost everything since you left. Or, I finally understand how much I hurt you, and I can't live with that. Their voice carries the weight of sorrow, and it pierces through your walls like a prayer you once whispered in the dark, that one day they'd finally see. And for a heartbeat, it feels like the moment you always waited for. The apology, the humility, the recognition of your pain. It tugs at the deepest part of you, the nurturer, the healer, the one who once believed your love could save them. But listen closer. This isn't healing, it's bait woven through pain. Their sorrow doesn't come from self-awareness, but from loss of control. They don't mourn you as a person, they mourn the power they had over you. The supply of love and devotion that once fed their ego. Now that it's gone, they panic. And so they reach for the easiest way back, pity. You'll notice the timing. Their words often arrive when your silence has grown strong, when you've begun to taste freedom, when they sense your energy shifting toward peace. They can feel when they're being forgotten. And for a narcissist, to be forgotten is unbearable. It means the mirror is gone, the reflection that once told them they mattered. So they collapse into sadness. They tell stories of loneliness, of sleepless nights, of realizing everything. They might cry, and those tears will look real. But remember, this is the same person who once turned away from your tears, the same person who couldn't bear your truth unless it served their image. This move is dangerous because it awakens your empathy. And you who love deeply, who see through gentle eyes, might feel the urge to comfort, to forgive, to try again. But love built from pity becomes a prison. And you've already lived in that cage before. You are not responsible for healing someone who refuses to heal themselves. You are not cruel for walking away from someone who finally cries after they've broken your heart. Breathe here. Let that truth settle. You do not owe them another chance simply because they are now showing the pain they once ignored. When this move no longer works, when you hold steady in your silence, they shift again. The fourth move isn't tender or apologetic. It's sharp. It's cruel. It's an attempt to punish you for staying gone. They begin to rewrite the story, to paint you as the villain, to tell the world you were unstable, ungrateful, impossible to love. Because if they can't pull you back with sweetness or sorrow, they'll try to destroy the version of you that dared to leave. The fourth move comes like a storm after calm, a sudden shift from pleading to punishment. When they realize their charm, nostalgia, and sorrow can no longer pull you back, something inside them snaps. The mask they wore begins to crack, revealing the anger they've tried to hide beneath layers of sweetness and regret. They cannot bear your silence. They cannot stand the idea that you've reclaimed your power, so they begin to rewrite the story. You might hear whispers. Mutual friends start saying things that don't sound like you, twisted versions of your truth, painted in colors that make you look unstable, selfish, or cruel. They might claim, I tried everything, they just gave up on me. Or, they were too damaged to love. They'll post cryptic words, online statements that sound wise, humble, sorrowful, but carry a hidden dagger meant for you. It's not just about their pride, it's about control. If they can't control your presence, they'll try to control your image. If they can't make you love them again, they'll try to make others doubt the love you gave. And maybe the cruelest part, sometimes they'll act like they've forgiven you, as if you were the one who broke them. They'll use kindness as a weapon, painting themselves as the wounded hero while you become the cold one, the one who abandoned them. This is not truth. This is desperation. You might feel the pull to defend yourself, to set the record straight, to show everyone the pain they caused. But here's the quiet wisdom. You don't have to prove your innocence to those who witnessed your silence. Your peace is your truth. Your calm speaks louder than their chaos. Remember, a person who truly heals does not smear, does not slander, does not rewrite history to make themselves the victim. Only someone still living in their wound does that. And beneath their rage, something else is happening: fear. They fear the world will see the truth of who they are without your light to reflect it. They fear that your healing will expose their emptiness. So they lash out, trying to pull you back into the narrative, even if through pain. But you've walked too far now to return to that shadow. You've learned the difference between being misunderstood and being manipulated. You no longer chase explanations from those who never listened. And when even their cruelty fails, when your silence remains, when you rise instead of crumble, they reach for their final move. The last card in their deck. A mix of chaos and charm, love and threat, tenderness and rage. It's the moment they throw everything they have left, hoping something, anything, will make you turn back. The final move is a storm of contradictions, confusion woven into longing, tenderness laced with threat. It's their last attempt to reclaim the hold they once had over your heart. You'll see flashes of every mask they've worn before: the nostalgic lover, the broken soul, the angry accuser, all swirling together in a desperate dance meant to shake your balance. One moment they'll say, "I still love you. No one will ever understand you like I do." The next, they'll hiss, "You'll regret losing me." This is their chaotic crescendo, a last act to reclaim the stage they've been pushed off of. They'll reach out suddenly, at random hours, with messages that pierce straight through your quiet. They'll remind you of the moments you once called magic, then twist them into guilt. They might show up at places you once shared, or send photos of the life you once dreamed of building together. Every word, every action is meant to create noise inside your peace, because your silence terrifies them. It tells them they no longer live rent-free in your mind. It tells them you are remembering who you are without them. And yet, even in this chaos, there's a heartbreaking tenderness that tugs at your empathy. Because you once loved the person they pretended to be. You once saw the softness behind the storm. You once believed you could love them into healing. And now, as they unravel before your eyes, a part of you still whispers, "What if they really do change this time? What if this is the moment I've been waiting for?" But love, this is not change. It's desperation. It's the last flicker of a candle that has always burned you. It's not warmth. It's a warning. Because someone who truly sees their harm does not need to chase you to prove it. They step back. They reflect. They rebuild quietly. But a narcissist cannot sit in silence. Silence mirrors the emptiness they cannot face. So they throw everything they have left, hoping one spark will ignite the old fire in you. This is the moment you must hold your ground the most. Because if you answer now, they'll know the door still opens. And the cycle begins again: hope, charm, confusion, pain. Breathe. Let your heart feel the pull, but do not mistake it for destiny. It's a reflex, not a calling. You're remembering love, but love doesn't demand your suffering. This is the turning point. The moment you choose peace over promises, clarity over chaos, healing over history. Because now, the story changes. Not theirs, yours. You've reached the quiet after the storm. The place where truth no longer trembles. You've seen every mask, every move, every desperate attempt to pull you back into a love that was never safe. And now, standing here, you can finally see what all of it was pointing toward. Not their change, but your awakening. It's strange, isn't it? The way pain becomes a mirror. The way heartbreak can strip you down to your barest truth. You wanted love, and you gave it fully. You stayed longer than you should have because you believed in their potential, not their patterns. But in doing so, you learned something sacred. Real love cannot survive where respect is absent. Real love does not demand you lose yourself to keep it alive. Their 5 desperate moves: nostalgia, performance, pity, punishment, chaos were never signs of love. They were signs of panic. They were proof of a person who cannot exist without control, who confuses attention with affection, who uses closeness not to connect, but to consume. You didn't break them by leaving. You simply ended the illusion that they could feed on your light forever. Now, the silence that once felt lonely becomes holy. It's the sound of space. Space for your own voice, your own laughter, your own dreams. You begin to realize that the peace you were begging them to give was always yours to claim. You may still miss them at times, Healing doesn't erase memory, it rewrites meaning. You'll think back to moments that once felt like love and see them now as lessons. You'll feel the ache, and then you'll breathe and the ache will soften, because you'll remember. You didn't lose your soulmate. You released your teacher. And in their absence, you've begun to return to yourself, the self who knows what love is supposed to feel like. Gentle, patient, steady. The self who no longer needs to beg to be chosen. So if tonight you're standing at that crossroads, phone in hand, heart unsure, pause. Remember these moves. Remember how each one pulled you back, not toward love, but toward loss. And ask yourself softly, what do I deserve now? You deserve peace that doesn't crumble, love that listens, safety that doesn't need explanation. You deserve to be seen, not shaped. If these words have met you where you are, if they've reminded you that you are not alone in your healing, stay with us. Subscribe to this space. Let it be your reminder on the days your heart wavers that walking away was not weakness, it was wisdom. And if you know someone still tangled in the storm, share this with them. Maybe it will be the voice they need in the silence, the voice that says, you are allowed to choose peace. Your story isn't over, love. It's just beginning. You've survived the illusion. Now it's time to build the truth.